Well, welcome everybody to the second day of this outstanding gathering. I know it's the afternoon, and if I had, guys over here said I should have chocolate espresso beans to throw at everyone, but I don't have anything. So I'm going to be speaking to you today on maximizing data center sustainability with optimized data storage solutions. So kind of like a septic tank, nobody wants to talk about it, but we all need one. That's where we're at. We're going to talk about data that's going to stay there for a long time. My name is Shawn Brume. You see the initials. I am the SOB, and I'm an IBM tape evangelist and strategist, which essentially means I talk about tape everywhere I go. And today we're not going to talk about anything magic, just real innovation being delivered to the OCP data centers that effectively protects cold data, data that's not getting touched, that you have to retain for one reason or another. Now, yesterday at our keynote, you may have heard Samsung's VP, Sang-Young Cho, communicate that according to IDC, data is going to grow to about 170, 175 zettabytes produced per year. And most of that data is ephemeral, right? It's going to come in, it's going to go out, we're never going to see it. It happens on your phone, but around 20% of it gets stored every year. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but put it into context, that's 34 zettabytes every year. Most of that data never goes away. Unlike compute resources where we can provision and deprovision, we don't have the availability to do that with this data. Most of the data is retained and it grows unchecked. It has gravity. Now, whether due to regulatory concerns or the fact that no one wants to delete the pictures of their dog from 10 years ago, right? Or if you're like my wife, you get 15 of them at a hold and you keep all of them, we don't delete any of that data. And whether you're a service provider, whether you're an MSP, whether you're doing AI in your data centers or collecting data that's coming off your automated or autonomous vehicles, you're never going to get rid of it. And ultimately, most of that data today is being stored on HDDs, which consumes tons of energy and has a huge CO2 equivalency emissions of some type, whether it's embedded carbon or it's the carbon produced from the energy. And unaccessed data, that data that's on second or third copies that are stored on HDDs, do provide an ease of management. I will never give that up. It's really easy to plan and provision, throwing another Grand Canyon into your infrastructure and just saying, hey, here's a whole bunch more terabytes, I can store that data. But ultimately that comes at a cost, whether that cost is in financial or in CO2 equivalents. And today I'm going to focus on CO2 equivalents because there are big changes afoot for deep archives. Here at the OCP Summit, oh, excuse me, I missed a slide there. Is it up? All right, great. So according to ESG survey in 2020, sustainability is equaling security in IT initiatives. You know, if you're a security person, you're going, well, there's no way. But sustainability is much bigger than just my data center. Sustainability goes into the impact globally. And the usage of sustainable, economically efficient storage is the perfect actionable impact for IT operations at scale, especially hyperscale. And there are a couple of easily referenced comparisons that can demonstrate this impact. How big of an impact? Well, if we look at 27 petabytes, pretty small amount, at least as far as us tape people feel, of data stored for 9 years on HDD, maybe like a Bryce Canyon or a Grand Canyon, compared to an ultra-dense IBM tape solution, right? We're talking about a 96% savings in CO2e equivalents, right? That's the emissions, that's the embedded carbons, that's the raw materials coming out of the ground, and it's the end of life according to the GHG process protocols. It's a 56% floor space savings at deployment. So from day one when you deploy, the infrastructure saves floor tiles, floor space, and 97% in energy. Even if you smartly manage the HDD, bring those systems down and alternate through your erasure-coded pairs, you're still only going to drop that to about 94% savings. you're only gaining about 3% in energy. However, at 146,000 kilowatt hours per year, that's a big savings. I totally admit that. Compared to about 747. So, pretty big difference there. And these comparisons really emphasize how tape is leading sustainability. It's not just from, well, I can get more compute resources, therefore I'm doing better. Everything has a trade-off, but tape at its core starts with around 98% recyclable capability. So the tape itself, the media, the drives, the libraries, 97% of that is recyclable into something else. Very little e-waste, 2%. And here at the OCP conference, IBM's promoting the ultra high density IBM Diamondback deep archive solution. And this is completely born to operate in very dense data centers. OCP designed, 69.6 compressed petabytes in a standard OCP width, so 19.6 inch wide rack, and only 7.7 square feet. So essentially, 9 petabytes of compressed data per square foot of data center. And it's set it and forget it. Once you put it in there, it's highly efficient in operations. When it comes to energy consumption, we were talking about energy, that 69.6 compressed petabytes, 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt hour of active energy to manage the entire library. So when you compare that to HDD, if you're an HDD person, that is almost nothing in the comparison. And we've been striving to make tape easier. For those of you that know tape, some will say, look, tape's just so hard for me to use. Well, with IBM Diamondback, we started with simplified operations compared to previous generations, making it minimal technical experience to deploy and maintain, which means you don't need any specialized education for your floor team. They can manage this very easily because that tech experience is very much like server installs and OCPs. So you can take, with minimal experience, even a manager could do this. You can roll one of these onto the floor. Once you get it into place, you're able to set it, deploy it, get it moving within 30 minutes, all the way through initialization of the library. And that includes tapes. There is no handling of tape outside of wheeling in one of these boxes and setting it down on the floor. And as far as service, we've really pushed the envelope, making this nearly 100%, 97% of all fixes you'll ever do can be serviced and maintained within 2 minutes with no tools. Essentially, capture design, the ability to go in, undo anything, remove it, put the new one in, and get it back running within 2 minutes of starting the fix. And it's ultimately the first truly self-serviceable, large-scale, ultra-high-density library on the market. It sets into place, and if a service personnel needs help to understand what they need to fix, it has barcodes, and those barcodes lead you right to videos that show the service personnel how to fix that equipment. Very much in an OCP design. And Diamondback works with IBM tape management software for direct unstructured data access. We're talking object and file system access directly to tape, as well as working with existing software that may be within your data center that manages tape today. And with hardware level encryption, support for worm media, this becomes the ultimate air gap by design cyber resiliency. It's offline as soon as that tape comes out of the tape drive, and you have the ability to partition that library and make it completely inaccessible via a network connection. And I'm going to wrap up and say that some choices are obvious. We just really have trouble taking action. We have focused in this industry on improving computational and network performance, and sustainability has become critical. I mean, we've heard it in almost every single booth, every single speech that we've heard over the last 2 days. But failure to address storage efficiencies is really giving up low-hanging fruit. IBM tape implementations have demonstrated the ability to cut cost and improve the sustainable capability of cyber-resilient storage. Ultimately, the IBM Diamondback is an unparalleled high-density storage for cold archive data, as well as cyber-resilient capabilities that require that air gap. And it demonstrates that tape technology is really continuing to innovate in areas where it matters: density, performance, sustainability, and we're going to continue to do that to really integrate with ease into the OCP data centers. Now, with that, I'll remind you that this library is available over in booth B31, right around the corner, so it's quick stand up, jump over there, take a look at it. We have it running with the media in there, and we would love for you to take that journey today. Any questions? Because tape does represent a different type of infrastructure than what we've been talking about. None? All right. Thank you very much. Have an excellent rest of your show here. Appreciate it.